Hi, everyone.
Hey,
I'm Alicia,
and I'm Meredith.
and this is Winter is Fun, a Winter House podcast, season 2, episode 3. I think we're halfway through.
I'm convinced. I am so convinced that it is only 6 episodes because 7 would be Thanksgiving. And I swear to God, if I have to watch this on Thanksgiving,
I
I would watch
can't.
it the next few days. But
I would watch it. I just
bravo,
don't
let us have a
want to.
holiday. Let us
Let us
have the
have the
holiday.
holiday. Okay, before we get into the episode, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast. We have It's About the Pasta, a Vanderpump Rules podcast. Oh, also, this podcast is usually Summer is Fun, a Summer House podcast. So,
Yes,
like,
it
shout out.
is.
And then we also have One Season Wonders. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. We have no new reviews or ratings. Follow us on Instagram at Vanderpasta. I'm fully posting tweets. I look
I
forward to them.
I truly don't ever stop, even if I'm the only one who looks at them, because I sit on my personal Instagram and I'm like about to DM you as if like you're obviously a Bravo account I follow, and then I'm like, no, I need to save these thoughts because I can't tell you ahead of us recording.
I also like we vote in them just like you guys. I go back to
Yes.
my personal account to vote, although I did vote wrong. This I accidentally hit the wrong one.
I don't like how on Instagram you can't change it.
I know. The question was like, do you like Jessica? And I put like yes, no.
I didn't vote because I couldn't figure out what I thought
It
yet.
was like yes, no, too early to
Who is
tell, or
she?
who.
Yeah.
And I meant to put who because I always call her Julia, and I accidentally hit nope. And I was like, either one, it's fine. But I meant to put who. And then join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all our pre-shows where Meredith and I talk about whatever the hell we want. Today it was very Bravo focused. So
it was all about the Watch What Happens live episode because, in my opinion, it had less to do with like Winter House.
there's a lot of drama. So everyone like
That's
hop on
true. I
this
guess it's
Bravo.
just the Vanderpump and Summer House drama since we don't have a post show since we are live.
Yes. Um, and then also you get access to any episodes we record early. So this one you will get like a day early. That's so exciting. But usually when we go back record old episodes, they're on our Patreon way before
Yep.
they're exposed live, exposed, released.
Exposed. After
For
watching Beverly Hills, you have like too much jargon in your
exposed. I know. So chic. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, you get access to our after shows, which we also do when we go back and watch old seasons. So we can talk about Bravo news without giving away spoilers.
Mhm.
And then also we'll say your name on the podcast. So thank you to Kristen A, Dustin, Jackie, Jamie, Casey, Kimberly, Cameron, Tiffany, Tonette, Tracy, Gina, Jennifer, Kirsten, Kelsey D, Kelsey M, and Mariah.
I mean, a whole slate. We have like 2 baseball teams, maybe.
I had to like stop for a second and be like, okay, I
We
got
should
to.
play in a rec league, but obviously we all live all over the country.
We should do like a virtual metaverse
What
kind
is that? Oh, good God, not the
of.
metaverse.
I still, none of you have DM'd me to tell me what that is. If you
I,
know,
well,
you
let's
might
be
be.
honest. Our audience is primarily female, and I don't think like a lot of us know what's going on.
Listen, if you are female, I'm assuming the younger generations get it. I myself have been mistaken for 13. I'm actually 28. Um, shout out to that one girl that DM'd us.
I just know there's this thing called like Roblox or something that all the youngins,
If
like
it's
really young kids, are into, and people are saying that's kind of like a metaverse, and I have never seen it.
if it's Club Penguin kind of thing, though, guys, we could buy a house from Julia and hang out in that house
I'm
all
just telling you,
together.
it would be my truest honor to hang out in Club Penguin with everybody.
Club Penguin. If we're not penguins, we don't want it.
Really quick, what color penguin were you?
I don't remember. Blue,
Purple, always.
probably. I
Always
think
purple for me.
blue is my favorite color, so I feel like I was always blue.
Love that. Okay.
Okay, and then for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, for live shows, now this is
Yes.
it. I always post. I posted like a few hours late this time, but I post, I ask you for your questions, comments, concerns, whatever about the show, about Bravo. You can post anything you want. But
You can even post on the last episode if Alicia hasn't posted
yes.
yet. Like,
And so
she'll find them.
and then we'll read them on the podcast. And we have some from last episode. We have some for this episode. So there's going to be some now and later, and it's very exciting. And then also we'll pick a patron of the episode. So now that we have people like commenting and stuff, damn it, I don't remember who I picked.
Well, we said we're doing it off people who engage. And
I know, but there were a few people that engaged, and I feel like I might have picked someone. Whatever. I don't know.
I trust your gut.
I'm gonna go off myself. So
I am the patron of the episode.
I'm going to pick, because I don't think I've picked this person yet. I'm gonna pick Jamie. Jamie is new. I do not know Jamie's gender, so I'm not going to assume. But Jamie, I'll stick with they. They messaged us. They're very smart. I had to send it to Meredith and be like, she's my tech girl. I don't know anything.
Oh, yeah.
But Jamie's very excited to be a part of Patreon. I'm very excited to have Jamie. Meredith is too.
I'm hyped.
Please, Jamie, all your questions will go to Meredith. I'm an idiot. But
it was one tech question. All your show questions, Alicia will filter.
I'll do those. You got opinions? All right. So let's get into the episode. First, we have stuff from last episode.
Hell yeah.
So Kirsten commented and said, loved this recap. I 100% agree with your take on Craig. It's just chaos. Craig is chaos.
Last episode was tough. I'm just going to say that. So I'm really excited for us to move on.
I think this episode was tougher. I don't know how.
Okay, I think it's just easier to know, like, we're moving on, you know?
Thank God. Okay. And then Danae said, just listened and enjoyed your recap. Guys, I
loved it
so much. The fact that Craig kept mentioning over and over again during the episode about fireworks shows he was upset with Luke over more than the situation with the girls. Yeah, he's pissed about these fucking fireworks.
Listen, I think every situation is always complex, but like this one, you can really see the complexities clearly.
I know.
This is so layered, which I think is why it's so hard to talk about it.
And then Danae also says he just couldn't let it go, and it feels familiar and reminds me of how he acts with Naomi verbally. It flashed me back to watching him argue with her on Southern Charm these past few episodes. He just can't let shit go.
Yeah,
I think this man got too big for his bridges, like I said. So then when things don't go his way, he's angry.
Yep. On the pre-show, we talked about like Craig in the last 3 seasons and stuff like that. And I just... on Watch What Happens Live, they said, "Oh, how the mighty have fallen," because he self-proclaims as and then number 1 guy in Bravo.
All of our other comments will be saved for the after the show. So let's get into the episode. Oh wait, I gotta open my stomach soda while I have a break.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. I'm drinking a real soda, a nice Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I love that. I have a lot of liquids. I didn't get home till 4 a.m. yesterday, you guys. So
mother of nope.
I'm exhausted. Okay, let's do this. So previously on Winter House, Austen is on his way, but Sierra's trying to move on. Corey, Craig's frat brother,
also known as Craig this episode.
Craig, is into all the girls. Rachel and Jason are flirting a little bit. Ooh. And it's very like hot, but not heavy.
It's like PG, like in a cute way.
Yeah. It's hot, but not heavy, Yes. And then Craig is just being a crazy frat brother.
Oh, God.
Amanda is tired of broken glass. So because they keep breaking glass. So then she got yelled at by Craig for picking it up and then also Craig threw a temper tantrum because he doesn't want to clean. And then the other drama was that Luke is really into Jessica, and Jessica was into Luke, but she's not anymore. And Luke kept making moves on Jessica, even though she was like not into him, but he didn't know, but Craig figured it out. So he got mad and he yelled at Luke, and then Luke got really upset and Luke left.
He actually did take boxes with him, I noticed in the last time on. And I was like, damn, I thought he just took a bag, but he carried out a box.
He was ready to go fully home.
I was like, wow, we've lost him.
I know.
Oh, wait, one thing I do want to say, is that the end of the like previously on?
Yeah.
Is I realized that again, we are filming a show in 17 days. Yes. That like there has not been a lot of time. Like this is like really blown up quick. Which I just like can't imagine being on like a trip with my friends and it just like going south this early on.
I can't imagine being like a Rachel where I'm like, what the hell did I step into?
Yes, which happens because she goes to bed early too.
Yeah, thank God. That would be me. I know you're thinking like she was out till 4 in the morning. So
You're joining this crew with the like everybody's still up
I'm
at 4
here.
a.m.
So it's Monday, 3:51 a.m. Luke is gone. Jason pulls Jess aside just to check on her. And Jess says she feels like an idiot. She appreciates Craig sticking up for her, but now it's this huge drama she didn't want. And they're talking in Sierra's room where her bed is filled with clothes. So they can't sit. So they're standing.
Jason like tries to push it over.
It's like permanently on her bed.
I actually appreciated this happening because I was like, I feel like this gave a little bit of comic relief in a really high intense situation.
For sure. Also, I'm convinced this is why Sierra is single. If she just had room to put people on her bed, she would have more luck. But whatever. Jason's got Jess's back. So then Craig comes upstairs to find Kyle, who's also asleep, and is like, hey, Kyle, Luke's gone. And Kyle's like, what? And then that's kind of the end of that. And then Amanda gets filled in with like Paige and
Sierra.
I think Sierra was in there.
Yeah, Paige, also, Amanda, Sierra are laying in the bed, and Craig is like kind of in the room.
Also, can I say, if I'm asleep, I'm not waking up at 4 a.m. to get the drama. I'll wait till 7.
But like they probably heard yelling.
Maybe. They were dead asleep. But then, okay, so Amanda gets filled in. Amanda does let them know how Jess felt as like she didn't want Luke around her and touching her anymore.
Because that was the same night. Like they half the group went out to the bar, and then Amanda, Kyle, Luke, and Jessica stayed in. And Jessica told Amanda that she was uncomfortable with like Luke's forwardness. Advances, I'll call it. Yeah, advances. That's the perfect word. And then Jessica wanted to talk to Luke on her own, but then fast forward, I don't know how many hours, let's just say like 6, because I think everybody got, well, maybe like 5. The whole blow up happened. So like there really wasn't a lot of time for Jessica to have that conversation with Luke.
Yes. So this is when Craig, who's in the room, feels super satisfied. Like he was right. He knows. But then Paige reminds him, no one thinks he's wrong. They just think he delivered it wrong, which I think is what Craig's missing, because then he just leaves. He's like, fine, then I'll leave.
I think you posted a tweet that kind of disagreed with that. I think what Paige is saying is correct. Like, you should stick up for people in those situations. Like, don't not do that again. Like, don't, because of this situation, think, oh, I shouldn't stick up for someone who like feels uncomfortable.
I agree.
Do it in a different way.
But then we immediately find out that Jess didn't want anyone to say anything. She told Amanda she wanted to do it. Which is where I'm like,
yes, but Craig doesn't know that.
Yeah, but again, being Craig, he handled this really wrong when he could have just, if he really cared about Jess and her feelings, he was actually thinking like a human being.
I agree.
He's just and again, frat bro. He could have been like, hey, Jess, come grab this with me. Or like, hey, Jess, do you want to play beer pong?
Pulled her aside for a conversation or something. Gotten her out of the situation and like helped her and then like connected with her. And again, I think the timing thing goes into it. This happened, this event of like Jessica, because the night before this fight is when Jessica and Luke were in the hot tub. So this rapidly happens where what are we in, like day 3, 4 maybe of this vacation, where like Luke and Jessica have only known each other for like maybe 2 days by the time the hot tub thing happens. And so, and then like Luke has advances and just it's moving too fast for Jessica. She's not into it. She doesn't want it. And then like just a few hours later, like of her being uncomfortable and people clearly seeing it, does it blow up so quickly. So I think you're right. Like Craig probably should have pulled her aside and been like, hey, are you okay? Is this maybe, because in theory potentially she could have even just been uncomfortable in the moment, like she was okay with that, but just like maybe she wasn't feeling well, and so like that's why she looked uncomfortable. There's so much more that could have happened.
But I think Paige says it right. Like, you're not wrong, but what you did was wrong. Like your actions were not good. So everyone goes to bed. It's now Tuesday, 10:49 a.m. Rachel's up, but surprised she's not cleaning.
I'm so proud of her.
She's learning.
I'm so proud of her.
But yeah, the house is waking up. Kyle texted Luke. Luke's at a hotel. And Kyle's gonna give him a call later. Rachel's watching Euphoria. Love.
Love
Good
that. I
show.
still haven't watched the last season. I need to. I'm so behind.
Oh my God. As you
I
can see from
know.
Rachel, it's very good.
I know.
So Craig, he's still on one. And he says if Luke ever talks to Paige again, he's gonna kill him.
Oh my God. I
Which I was like,
can't.
dude, they literally have their own show together. You can't, he's gonna talk to Paige. And Paige doesn't
Yes.
hate Luke just because
Which-
you do.
We know Luke isn't a full cast member next season. So like I wonder if like some of this filtered into his decision.
Maybe he was just like, Craig's a psycho. I don't want to be
Yeah, like I don't want to be
associated.
I don't want to be involved in this type of life anymore. Like just like being filmed, everybody critiquing me, and then also like hanging out with some of these people.
Like, also, if we want to talk about it, apparently I missed it. This was leaked. Like, people were trying to make Luke out to be a predator.
You posted that. You posted a tweet about that, and I'm curious. We can talk about the actual results later on, but like I missed this.
I did too. And listen,
I'm glad I did, because like this would piss me off if
we're gonna talk about it, but I don't think he's a predator in this. I think he just was a little touchy and didn't.
I think he's learned a lot though too,
and needs to learn. Yeah. And I think like I said, I don't think he went with like any kind of malice to be like, I'm gonna force this girl to love me. I think
he thought that like, they were on the same page of being interested in each other, and they weren't,
which is very different from being
it's a miscommunication, to be honest. Yes. And unfortunately miscommunication led to her being uncomfortable.
Yeah, my God, this was out there that everyone's like, Luke's a creepy predator. Like, no.
If he had done this in Summer House seasons, then I'd say yes, he's a predator. But like he has not done this every season to someone.
And he's never made, all the girls have said Luke's a good guy. He just like misread signs. If he was a predator, they'd
you have to be blunt with him.
Creepy. Yeah. Crazy. So we'll talk about it. But so Jess and Corey talk. Jess was upset last night, and Corey's like, well, I was in bed, but I heard Craig lost his shit. Yeah. And I like, truly, if Luke stayed, it would have been way worse, which I was like, that sounds like a Craig problem.
I agree. But that I love the awareness of Luke to be like, I need to get out of here. I don't want this to continue. Yeah. Exactly. Like that shows you how mature Luke is.
Yes. So Rachel and Jason flirt a little bit. He's like, hey, are you gonna come skiing or snowboarding? And she's like, I don't do that, and also I hate the cold, which is me.
Their interactions bring me so much joy.
It's so cute. So it's 12:12. The guys are gonna go to the mountain. And on the way they talk about Rachel and how Jason really likes getting to know Rachel. So Corey, back off. This is Jason's girl. So the girls stay home. They talk about how Austen's going to be here soon. And Paige thinks Austen has a girlfriend, or at least is hanging out with a girl, which she knows. She's met Olivia. I don't know why she's like, I think he has a girl.
Because they never became official, actually. We now know that from the Southern Charm reunion. So I think she was saying, I don't know if they're actually boyfriend, girlfriend, like title-wise.
You know he's hanging out
He has a girl, but is it his girlfriend?
That was a big plot line.
And I think Sierra is like, oh, he always keeps his options open. And I was like, oh, God. The shade here.
So Sierra doesn't want Austen to come because he was like horrible in Summer House, like so rude to everyone involved in that show. So
many flashbacks.
I loved the tapes. We got the tapes, and it's the longest tapes I think we've ever gotten. It was a full minute of Austen being a piece of shit,
we get some later this episode too, and I'm just like, wow, they're really just like, hey, let's set the stage before Austen comes in. He sucks, and this is
Bravo picked up. I think Bravo thought we're gonna put Austen in Summer House. He's gonna be fan favorite, and then they're like, we're gonna switch it up. Fuck Austen, and we're like, yep, support. Okay, so Sierra hooked up with Austen in November, which was when Southern Charm was filming, but hasn't seen him since. So we'll see. Back to the boys. It's 1 degree out. All the beer's frozen. But that's okay, because this isn't as bad as the time Corey and Craig got caught in a blizzard and almost died.
Insane.
He said that so nonchalantly. I was like,
I think Corey is so funny. It's all about his delivery, like the way he says it so casually. He says it too. I think it's later on in this episode when they talk about the dating game, and he was like, yeah, I was a matchmaker once, and people are like, whoa,
what? He's crazy.
He just drops things, and people are like,
so funny.
Me?
He's like, we should have died. And I was like, oh, okay.
Like, we had to hike up to a
little
thing, and then we broke into it, and thank God, wow, how'd we live?
End of story. I was like, bravo.
Great party stories he's got.
I'm kind of into Corey as a character. I think he's funny.
I agree. He he does interviews really, really well.
He's great.
He's kind of like on Paige's level.
Yes. So back to the girls. Jessica says, because they're talking about the Luke situation, she hit it off with Luke, but at some point she felt like Luke took it like too far. Like she gave him an inch and he took a mile, but she didn't want to sound like over dramatic.
And I get this. I have
agree.
been there and this is where I really started thinking about the timing of it, that they'd really only known each other for 2 days.
Yeah.
That this can happen so quickly sometimes. And I think in normal life, when you meet someone, you're at a bar, and so you're just spending a few hours with them. But living in a house with someone, it escalates it so quickly because of how much time you're spending with them. That something that would maybe happen a few weeks down the road is happening a few days down the road.
Yes. And I think it's hard for everyone. I mean, like if I'm in that situation, whether I'm more of a Jess or a Luke, I don't know how to play this. Like we lived together for 17 days. Like are we going to be engaged by the end of this? Cause like it moves so fast.
Whereas like, how do you pump the brakes now? Like you did say something yesterday, but if you really think about it, like me saying something like, oh, I'm into you yesterday. This is so difficult. How do you like stop a train that's moving?
I don't know. It's so weird.
At such a rapid pace.
But Jess, she grew up in that strict Baptist church, and it was hard for her to speak her mind with men. And she doesn't think Luke's a bad person. He just didn't understand her body language, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Not everyone picks up on it.
And people can't read your mind. Like you do have to say things sometimes. Yes. And that is difficult. Especially knowing her background.
Like, sadly, reality. Like some people don't read body language. Some people read it differently. Maybe Luke genuinely did think Jess was just tired. So I'm gonna massage her shoulders. You know, like it could have been so many different ways.
Yeah.
So all the girls think Luke should come back, which I think also shows he's like not predatory. He's just like
there just needs to be a conversation. Like we're coming to a head and it needs to happen, but it's not going to ruin this trip. It's just like a really uncomfortable moment. And these happen in life.
So then I thought Luke was going to show up, but it's not. It's Austen, which I was like kind of disappointed.
I know.
So now
I love that he comes to a house full of girls too, and especially like one of them hates him.
He's like a big bumbling idiot too. He's like,
hey guys!
Oh, my shit all fell over.
Last year he was greeted with Lindsay like running to him at the door, or Lindsay came in and he like ran to her or something. This year he's like, hey guys, and people are like, hey.
So it's 3:55. People slowly get up, say hey to Austen. Sierra doesn't get up initially, but then he's like, hey, Sierra.
Last person to greet each other.
So Austen's in a headspace that is way better than the one he was in Summer House. Good. And he wants to get back to a good place with everyone.
This is good because the things that happen between Austen and Sierra do have implications for his friendships with people.
Yes.
Like
I think
he yelled at Paige. It's just an awkward situation. So I think smoothing it over with Sierra helps his friendships move along easier.
I truly think the only reason him and Paige are friends is because of Craig. Like they would never ever be communicating still if Paige and Craig weren't dating. Austen and Paige would not have a relationship. But he has a place to start.
So, except out of the Bravo sphere. Like at BravoCon they might say hi to each other, but in like normal life they wouldn't.
Okay, so they fill Austen in on Luke leaving. And how the boys are doing all their winter activities, which we cut to. Kyle calls Luke, and Luke just he knows he needs to apologize, and he wants to know how he made Jess feel, which I think is very like a great step. He did a lot of introspective work. And he needs to self-evaluate, and he plans on coming back tomorrow, which I think is also good. He's giving himself time to really become comfortable with the situation and how he needs to handle it.
Yeah, I think like one really shining quality of Luke is he really is reflective and like takes feedback well.
I agree.
No matter what, it's awkward to have that conversation, but he truly takes what people say to heart.
Yeah.
Like, I think with Hannah he did, with Sierra, like in all of those situations, none of them were smooth in the moment, but like when people talk to him, he really does like reflect and shift and move forward really, really well, I think.
And I think that's why the cast says he's a really
good guy.
Yeah, he's really nice. Okay, so the girls back at the house, they're like, we're gonna move Luke out of his room since he's not here. We give Austen Sierra's old room, and Sierra's moving to Austen or to Luke's old room.
I think there's clear hierarchy of like best rooms in this house. So if somebody leaves for 5 seconds, people are like swooping in.
I literally was like, so where's he gonna live?
I-
But I
He
forgot there's
did
the
really
rooms
pack up all of his
downstairs.
stuff, I think. So,
Maybe.
like how long, again, things move quickly in this house. How long do you keep an empty room, especially a better one open?
Yeah, I forgot there's the rooms downstairs. The
Mhm.
only sad part is Luke is very much an introvert. So I feel like he wants his own space, and downstairs is not private because they're the two beds.
Mhm.
So he's gonna have to share with, I'm assuming, the Toms, but we'll see.
I
Or
don't
Lindsay
know.
and Carl, which is
I
just
am so confused. I'm
nightmare.
so happy you posted that layout of the house. I meant
I'm
to
still
screenshot it
confused. I'm still
because
confused.
I'm gonna make a explained layout, like of events that happened in each
Oh, I
room.
would love.
I think I'm gonna put numbers on it, and I think I'm gonna post it in our actual
I would love that.
feed. Okay, I'll do it
Amazing.
because
So
that helped my mind so much.
I'm still confused. I am an idiot though. Okay, so the boys head back to the house. Kyle tells the boys about talking with Luke, and Kyle doesn't believe that there was ill intent. See,
Agreed.
everyone is very much like pro Luke, even though they know he did wrong. They realize he's gonna fix it.
I'm gonna
So
say they're
like,
pro Luke's character.
yes,
Yeah.
maybe yes, they're pro Luke's character, and they know Luke is gonna fix it.
Yes.
They know there's not gonna be this fight because
Mhm.
then they're like, Craig, you should talk to Luke. And Craig's like, I don't want to talk to Luke because he shouldn't touch girls.
And here's a big difference between Luke and Craig. They both did something wrong. To different people, obviously.
Yeah.
But Luke is like, I'm gonna take accountability for like what I did wrong, and I'm going to reflect on it and have a conversation with it. Craig is like, it doesn't matter.
There's
Like I did it for
one
the right
answer.
reason.
Yes.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's like,
I mean, like,
that's
I get what
doesn't
Craig
matter.
was saying, where he's like, unless Luke heard, like, you can touch me, he shouldn't be touching people. But how often does that happen in real life
Exactly.
where it's like, hey, Luke, you can put your hand on my shoulder?
In a perfect world, yes,
Great.
we should be asking consent for a lot of these things. But some of it does happen non-verbally.
I
And
think
so
it is. It's just like it's a comfort thing. Like I know the Paige thing was a little weird when you watch
but
it.
she talked about it on Watch What Happens Live. Like
Oh,
I can easily brush that off. Like I don't think she openly is like, yes, please, like grab my neck.
yeah,
Like
it's like
I don't think
fine.
most people are, but she's like, it wasn't a
It
big deal
didn't
to her.
bother me.
Yeah.
But like, so I last night was out with my guy friends and I did think about it because I was like moving past one of them and I grabbed his sides and went boop boop and like moved past. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh shit. Like that was like a little weirdly intimate, but we're just
Yeah.
friends. But he didn't care.
But
And
I also think
so it's like
one
weird.
moment versus a whole day of it, it starts
Well,
to
the
build.
Jess thing. I
Yeah.
think the Paige thing was very kind of more
Exactly.
normal.
So I think it's a one moment, and so
Yes.
it dissipates quickly. Whereas
Yes.
if you did that to your friend, if you went to brunch all day and then went out and you kept doing it, I think it would build, and he'd be like, "Please stop." He'd be like, "Please stop touching me."
I'm sure if I went poop boop,
Yes, like 7
day.
times in a day.
Oh,
I think
horrible.
he'd be like, "Don't look me. Don't talk to me again."
So yeah, Craig's just very like anti-Luke, doesn't want Luke doing weird shit, whatever. Luke's gonna reflect. Everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Craig. We're gonna go home. So
Yes.
it's 8:06. The boys are back. Amanda and Rachel are making dinner and setting the table. Jason does offer to help, and Rachel's like, just go sit down. And I was
She
like,
puts her flowers on the table too, and I'm like,
so
you brighten this house up with
I'm
those
obsessed.
flowers.
I'm kind of obsessed with Rachel. If she's a one-hit wonder, I'm gonna be pissed.
I love her.
I love Rachel.
Don't think she can ever do Summer House though because of the wedding season. So I
That's
really
true.
hope she's a staple in Winter House.
I swear to God, if Carl and Lindsay don't fucking hire her, I'm not going to the wedding.
Kyle and Amanda for Loverboy, she did that Loverboy background at BravoCon. She created that.
She's amazing.
Yes, I saw her post something about it in the BravoCon like around that time, and I was confused. And then I stalked her this week, and she posted about making that background with like the shiny, the silver. Yep,
I'm obsessed with her. I'm absolutely obsessed. Okay, so hey Austen, welcome to dinner. What you been up to? And he's like, hey, I'm dating this girl, Olivia. She's lovely and great. There's no label. And I want to keep it that way.
Shocker.
Barf.
He says he wants to keep it that way so he doesn't mess it up. And I'm like, dude, you
can still mess it up just because you're not. Like,
what he doesn't want to happen is the Madison walking in on a threesome moment, because that is messing it up, because the label was what was wrong with it.
Now, if he is a threesome, Olivia would never be mad.
Well, she can't be mad because they're not boyfriend girl.
I want to barf at him. He's horrible.
His logic, it just cracks me up.
So, tonight our activity, because we always have an activity. We're gonna go speed dating so everyone can get to know each other better.
I love this. I want to do this.
This is a great idea. But Corey's like, hey, I've done this before because I used to be a matchmaker.
Right after college, he worked as a matchmaker.
Would I trust Corey to match me up with anyone? I don't know, because I might end up at a table with Craig.
Drops this the same way he dropped the Blizzard comment.
Yeah. He's like, I used to be a matchmaker, and everyone's
he
like,
said something else, and then Paige goes, whoa. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, because he's like, yeah, people would come to me, and then I would set them up with I would give them to someone else.
And you got paid for that? And Corey goes, yeah.
Yeah, and then Paige was like, so you were a pimp, basically. Was
so
awesome.
good.
It was good.
So good. I love Corey.
Okay, so speed dating is set up. I didn't do like all the matches and whatever. I have highlights. So
I agree with you doing it that way, because I was like, whoa, there is a lot happening, but I really liked the fast pacedness of the scene. It was really enjoyable to watch.
You pick up on the fun shit and whatever. So I put that I really liked Amanda and Corey. I thought they vibed really good together.
Top notch. I do have to
Corey's
say.
Great. Rachel and Jason obviously have chemistry, but Jason's having a really hard time reading Rachel because he doesn't know. But their whole conversation was like, oh, Rachel, what do people first think about you? And Jason, I think, went first, and he was like, they say I have a nice smile and I'm like charismatic. And Rachel's like, I did think those things about you. And she goes, people think I'm a bitch. And he was like, what?
It's funny.
He's like, I don't.
Yeah, he goes first. He says it. And she's like, I do think those things. Yeah, I'm a bitch. And it's not like he can be like, yeah, you are.
He literally was like, what? And she's like, I think it's because I'm like quiet when you first meet me. And he's like, oh,
yes,
okay.
You are those things. You're not a bitch, but the way you say that people read you as a bitch. Yes.
It was so funny. Okay, so Julia tells
Jessica. Jessica.
I wrote Julia. Who is she? So Jessica tells Kyle she fucked brothers one time.
Twins.
Do we think
twins?
Was it a threesome sitch, or was it like one after the other?
I forget what the question was, but I think it was like,
what's the craziest thing you've sexually done?
And we got Kyle's flashback from last season with the boop.
Oh my god, the finger in his asshole.
Yeah.
Whereas then he looks at Jessica and goes, pretty vanilla. I was like, the receipt.
They have so much. This is what I do like about Winter House, is you have so many things to pull from for like a lot of these people between two different shows. And then now like Austen and Craig going on Summer House, there are so many clips to pull that they are doing expert work on the flashbacks.
They're like, do we have a flashback for this scene? And people are like, yeah, which one do you want?
I thought weirdly of the Jordan losing his virginity scene.
Oh my god,
stuff, because we just watched that season.
That was so funny. Okay, so then Corey and Sierra flirt a little, and the episode edits make it seem like Austen's noticing and caring. I don't think he fucking cares. I think he's an asshole and like doesn't really give a shit about Sierra anymore.
I agree. I think you can't help but overhear other people's conversations left and right of you. So when he is sitting one away from her, he's hearing her things and just commenting on them like, what about anybody else around you?
Yeah. Okay, but Sierra's super into Corey, but there's something holding her back, and it cuts to Austen, which great edit, we know. So Sierra and Austen then sit together, super awkward. She has this card and she's like, I'm not going to ask that. So they move on, which like, fine.
Yep.
We find out the card was, when was the last time you had sex? And Sierra just didn't want to know that about Austen.
I agree. I mean, most of these are like sexual questions that's really hard. That's a really hard conversation to have with someone, especially because their relationship ended not the way she wanted it. It never really started. It was a situationship. And I feel like those are sometimes harder to mourn because you are letting go of what you thought it would be. And so it's like way harder to let go of like this imaginary thing you dreamt up.
Agreed. It was just really awkward. But then we cut to Corey and Jessica. They're getting a little intimate in their conversations.
Yep.
And then afterward, it's like, who's your favorite date? And Jessica goes, Craig, I mean Corey.
But she like points and is looking at Corey.
Craig. And then he's like, I'm Corey. And she's like, I mean Corey. And this is not the first time or this last time this happens.
I love when like moments like that happen.
I was stressed. So then it's 11:52 p.m. We're all partying, hanging out, laughing, doing winter house things, nothing too notable. And then it's 1:17 and we're all gonna go to bed. And then Craig sneezes on Paige in the aftermath of COVID. Craig, we don't do this.
Oh my God. But I've had a sneeze come up on me and then it just like is out before you can even move your arms.
I would
have freaked out though if I was Paige.
Paige just goes, ew, you sneezed on me. I would have been like, I have to shower now.
Because what's disgusting is it just rained down all on her.
Because he was above her, like tucking her in or something. And he's like, chew. He could have turned a little bit.
I agree. Like if you can't get your elbow up there to sneeze
just
into,
turn the other way.
Head. Yeah.
So it like her feet.
I was about to say rains down on the blanket and her feet.
Yeah, horrible man. Okay. So then it is 9:51 on Tuesday, 9:51 a.m. By the way, I feel like I should specify.
That's true.
Rachel is up. I kind of like Rachel being up early because then we find out things about her.
Agreed.
She's the only one to
film.
that's
true. It like really sets the tone because you have to know when the day starts.
I would pull like a Big Brother and I'd probably look into the camera if I'm Rachel and be like, no one's up with me.
But they would not show that stuff.
That'd be funny. So then we find out Rachel grew up with 2 older twin brothers, like way older.
13 years, she says.
Yeah. But shout out, cute family photos. Thanks.
They look
sharing.
like they're because she's adopted. Yeah.
Okay.
And so they're white and she's Asian. So, like I wonder if they're biologically related, like they're bio kids of their parents, and then they adopted her afterwards. Oh, that's what I'm assuming.
I think so too. I never really thought about it. I probably should have. But cute. I loved the family photo. She's a cute little baby.
I know.
But she also likes to wake up because there's like a calmness in the morning, which I can appreciate. I love.
And I can imagine with like 2 twin brothers, they're probably just and they probably slept later than her by the time she's.
Well, they're older. Yeah. She's up watching cartoons and they're like out the night before. So Jason's up. And it's like the 2 of them. So like Rachel already made breakfast, but then Jason, who's a fantastic cook, is like making breakfast. And she's like, hey, can I have some of that? Can I have second breakfast?
I love this.
He goes, you could have third breakfast.
This like light little banter flirting is everything I love. It's like rom-com flirting.
I know. And then Rachel's like, I had a dream about you, but I was mad at you in it because you were being mean. And so I'm like mad at you now. And he's like, don't be mad at me. You could have my breakfast. It was so cute.
I have butterflies for them.
Same. I could talk about this scene all day long.
I could just talk about them for an hour straight.
Is the episode over then? We're done.
Yep. We only highlight
Rachel and Jason.
Yeah.
The episode would be 5 minutes, but we could talk about it forever if you want. Paige and Craig make out in the bathroom. Amanda has to poop and she poops faster than Kyle, so she gets to go first.
See, this is what I want out of Kyle and Amanda. Like I want little funny, like being married. Like you love me, so let me go to the bathroom first. Also,
he's like very upset that he's going second. And she's like, I haven't pooped in days. Let me have this, which is the worst. So Amanda, you enjoy that poop. So Paige gets on a Zoom, right? She has a Zoom for work. Yes. She asks everyone, please don't say anything inappropriate. And she takes it in like the living room area by the kitchen.
Yes, I think the kitchen is somewhat a little separated from this, so it's not like they're sitting right next to her. It's like a little hallway.
It's down the hall.
Yeah.
Okay, so she should have put headphones in, which she didn't. But
I agree with that. But all she says is like, just don't say anything inappropriate. I don't think she cares about a little bit of background noise.
It might have even been like, I gotta have this on camera so people can buy my clothes, kind of thing, you know?
That's right. She explained it in Winter House. So after this is over, or sorry, not on Winter House, on Watch What Happens Live. So I'll explain her thoughts behind it afterwards.
Okay, so she has like wanted a fashion line her whole life. She does a collab with Amazon, which is basically her fashion drop. So I
freaking love those collabs.
She picks clothes, she drops them on Amazon. You can shop her closet. And so she's talking about like something about a mini skirt. Like it looks better with the mini skirt and the blazer and blah blah
Well, she's
blah.
saying, so I think you only get to pick like 6 items, let's say. And so she's saying we should do a blazer instead of a mini skirt. More people will buy a blazer. Like you can use that.
Which
It's
is
very
true.
versatile, which not
Yeah.
a lot of people really love mini skirts. And so there's a better audience will sell more with
Yes.
a blazer.
With a blazer. And then Craig goes, I like a mini skirt. And she just stares at him and goes back to her call.
Which
But
he was not there for the don't say anything inappropriate comment. Not that he should have said this, but
no, but she straight up literally just like the death look and went back to her
because
Zoom.
she can't like yell at him while she's on this Zoom.
She just mutes him and you just see her like yelling in the video.
Yeah.
But yeah, she then opens up in her interview and says like she feels like everyone in the house thinks her work isn't real work because like all she's doing is these collabs, but like
it's like the influencer thing. It's not a real job.
Yeah, but she's like, it is. Like I have to do stuff for it.
I feel that for her. Like I bet like there's more respect on Kyle. I mean, and
started a
granted,
company.
there should be, but like they like knock her down.
My thing is she's not doing nothing. She's not like I got some clout from the show, so now I'm just gonna like promote brands who give me free shit. She's hustling to be like, I want a fashion line. I want people to shop my just like my ideas.
Yeah.
Designs,
and she's more than just like, oh, I sell things, I like link things on Instagram. Like she does the Amazon, like she does videos on Amazon selling close to like her hauls. Like she does a lot. I've started to really notice what, and she's done that. We saw that one segment of her on like Good Morning America or something where Sarah was the model.
Yeah, she's here to share her fashion wisdom and like almost like not a personal shopper, but
kind of,
but like she wants you to have exactly what you need, the whole outfit, and she's gonna give that to you. So afterward they all go in the kitchen, right? And Craig and Paige are both there in front of everyone. And he makes fun of Paige for having a Zoom in the middle of the house.
Yes.
He's like, why would you do that? That's so dumb. And she's like, you could ask me how it went instead of like coming at me. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Paige. You didn't like my mini skirt comment? And she's like, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
And he's like, how'd it go? Because everyone's like, Craig, just shut the fuck up.
Like, just ask her how it went. Like, be like, sorry, I'm sorry I said that.
Yeah, it's fine. He doesn't apologize, but he finally says, like, how'd it go? And Paige is like, it went fine. But then someone makes a joke like, Craig just hates fashion because he has none. And Paige is like, oh, I know, I fucking hate his outfit.
Yeah.
Because he's wearing like a jacket with no shirt underneath.
Oh yeah. He's wearing a like winter jacket. He looks like one would after drinking all day.
I do not know how this man pulled such a fashionable girl. He is
it's because it's so much easier because like he is in the preppy, I'll say wardrobe style.
That's true.
In like down in the South, it is so easy for a guy to dress preppy and not have to think about it. You just need khaki or like navy slacks and like some button ups and get some hair gel, like a cute belt. Like it's not hard, and your mom probably shops for you.
In Delaware.
Yes.
Well, Craig's,
Paige and Amanda said, this is actually one of the quietest rooms. This was the best room for her to do this call. And Andy was like, why didn't you do it like in a bedroom? And Paige said Craig was sleeping, so she couldn't do it in the bedroom. I feel like I would have taken the closet, but whatever. But based on like where people were hanging out, this was the best room for her to do it in.
That makes sense.
And like, nobody in the kitchen interrupted her. So like it was from a house environment easy for her to do it there.
Yes. Okay, so Corey then tells us that he has a fitness coach who's doing a HIIT workout at a bar, so then they can exercise and drink later.
Brewery. This is my dream.
This is it. This is the vibe. I was like, I would do this in a second. And no, everyone's like, well, mainly Paige and Amanda, because we know them. They're like, ew, why would I work out on vacation? Sierra is only going because she's into Corey.
Yes.
Jess, I'm sure, is also kind of only going so she doesn't have to see Luke when he gets home, but also she's into Corey.
Did you hear the comment Jess made? Like, why would we drink and then work out? And Corey was like, no, it's the other way.
You work out and then you get to drink. Like, yeah, what? It's kind of like, it's like a reward.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So Paige and Craig talk about Luke coming back, and Paige is basically like, behave. Like, just play cool. And Craig's like, I'm going to go work out because then I don't have to hang out with Luke. And Paige is like, great, behave.
I'm like so tired of like
It's almost
Craig's
like
side of tit for tat type of little like behaviors. I
Paige
don't
is
enjoy
literally
it.
like, just be cordial.
Civil.
Have manners. Have
Yes.
fucking manners. You from the South. He's not. He's from Delaware. But you know what I mean.
God.
Okay, so Luke says hi to everyone. He just says he needed some space to think about everything.
Mm-hmm.
This is when I said, where's he gonna live? Because he goes to his room and Sierra's there. And
He like peeps his head and is like, and it's like Luke's old room.
I know, and Sierra's in there and he's like, ooh. And
I
like,
didn't
whatever.
notice that the switch happened. This is the only way I knew the switch happened. I wish they would have shown us Sierra moving her shit into Luke's old room. I think that would have been kind of funny.
Talked kind of about
but maybe it was too sensitive to show us that.
I
like,
mean, I just feel bad that Luke has, because I forgot about the rooms downstairs, but he's obviously kind of sad. But so Jessica goes to find Luke, and so they sit down. Luke knows that he like wants to move forward. He needs to have this conversation with Jess. And Jess explains that she doesn't agree with how things were handled, but she wants to explain her thoughts. And then Luke says, okay, and after your thoughts, I would like to explain like where I was coming from.
Yeah.
And she basically says, no, you're not going to do that. I'm going to speak, you're going to listen, and that's it.
Well, she says, I don't want to go tit for tat back and forth. I just want to say how I'm feeling, and that's it.
She said she didn't want an apology or anything from him either.
She just wanted to express how she was feeling, and move on from there.
Which I think is fair, but also made me really sad because I think Luke really needed to apologize for his growth. Yeah. And I understand that in this situation, Jess was the one that felt uncomfortable, so she should have control of the situation. But I again don't think there was like ill intent. So I
agree.
Luke, I think have said I'm sorry.
What do you think if she would have done this? Like, I'm going to tell you my feelings. I don't want you to interrupt me. Let me speak fully. Yeah. And I don't want you to like give excuses or reasonings of like really like to like discuss my feelings. Like, I'm going to say how I feel. You can like have some time, but like I don't want to go back and forth.
No. I don't think Luke would have been like, once Jess finished, was like, well, I didn't read your body language and I thought you were into me. Like, I don't think he would do that. I think he'd said like, I misread like his excuse would have been, I misread the situation, I screwed up, and I'm going to take full ownership, and I'm sorry for making you uncomfortable.
But she doesn't know him. So I can see that she might, like, you know how sometimes you tell people how you feel and they like try to rationalize or like give you excuses of why they did was okay. I think she's trying to avoid that, which like I understand that. Like, let me just say how I feel. I don't want it to be an argument about my feelings and your this, but I think she should have given him some time to say a little bit of his piece.
She could say like, you can apologize after. I want to say my piece. I do think, because the other thing is she wants to move on with Luke, and they do have to live in this house together. So I would have been like, I don't want it to be like, I talked at you and like, we're good, bye. Yeah. Like, I want to have a because that's my other thing is I'd want to have a conversation where if he's like, I didn't read the body language correctly, I'd be like, yeah, a lot of times women don't. Like, it would be an educational thing for me. Where I'd be like, even though it's not my job, like, this is how I was feeling. You can do with this what you want. But like,
I think like my feelings aren't up for discussion, and I don't want to talk about that, but I'm going to speak about my feelings. Yes. You can say what you need to say.
Your feelings, and then we can like,
and then like, let's move on. I don't want this to be awkward. I think he should have been given a space to speak a little bit, but I understand not wanting to debate your feelings and the situation.
It felt really harsh. Yeah. And my other thing is like, again, Julia, I get that, or what's her name? Jessica. Doesn't know. God damn. It's like a serious topic and I like don't know her name. Jessica.
And any topic you don't know her name.
Jessica doesn't know Luke. Yeah. But everyone has said he's a good guy. He's just an idiot. So then with that, I'd be like, he's probably not gonna come at me and yell at me. He's probably gonna listen.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people tend to debate feelings, and I would not want to do that in that situation. So
that would be better to say like, my feelings are my feelings
are not up for debate. I don't want to discuss my feelings. I'm going to tell you how I feel,
and then you can say
have a few minutes
and we can
let's move on. Yeah.
But he graciously is like, that's fine, then I won't speak.
Again, you see the maturity of him. Amazing. And I really like how he comes to this discussion letting her decide how it's going to go. Yeah.
fully.
Like like we've said, he should have gotten time, I think, but he is willing because it is her time. Like
Amazing.
he's kind of in the wrong. He's trying to resolve it with her. And I really appreciate him coming to the table and just accepting it, even though if it's not what he deserved.
And Jessica got a lot of heat for not letting him talk by everyone.
I just feel like it's tricky. I think Jessica's taking a lot of heat in this situation, and it makes me sad. In the situation in a whole, and it makes me sad. I feel like it's that like victim blaming type mentality a little bit, with just like how much heat she is getting on social, and it makes me really sad.
Yeah, I don't think she deserved. Obviously, I think her communication sucks, and I think that was a big part of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think she should have been blamed for that situation. However, this is where I'm like, we have to have a conversation. That's the only way things are going to get better, is a conversation. And this didn't feel like it, but I digress. So Jess says she put up boundaries physically, but she knows she verbally should have said something because like whatever, but Luke should have gotten the hint, which I was like, girl, your hint was not that big.
It's just tricky.
And she could have. I also, if Jessica's uncomfortable, she could have easily said like, Amanda, can you just tell him to back off? And Amanda could have been like, she'll have a conversation with you later. Now is not the right time, but like, don't just like leave her alone.
Yeah, there's a few ways to tackle this in a better way.
Maybe that would have helped a little bit, but whatever. I digress. So Jess wants to move forward, and they both have things they need to work on. And like I said, Luke does a really great job after, because he doesn't like apologize or say anything. He's like, I understand. Thank you for speaking to me. Like,
I think the way she expressed her feelings were really good.
Was really good.
Really well spoken. I think she really was able to communicate with him what happened now.
Yeah. And she was able to say, like, I know I should have said something. Like, I know that I need to work on things going forward.
I love that she said we both need to work on things.
I think that was great.
Incredible, Jess.
Luke taking it was very great. He acted so maturely, and he says he understands, like once Jess leaves, he says he understands making people uncomfortable, and you have to take it when it happens. You can't fight that.
Yeah, like you can't argue their feelings. Like I love how he said that. Like I did make her uncomfortable, and like I just need to own that and learn from that, and like do better and make sure I don't do that to somebody else in the future.
Yes. That being said, this man is not a predator. I don't know who put that narrative in the world.
That really angers me.
Because he does this exactly right with everything. He did not handle this conversation bad.
In person and reflecting in his interviews. Because like sometimes you know how people take responsibility in their interviews. So then like if a story got out, you obviously didn't know that until it airs. He takes responsibility in person. I really love how he handled this. And I really love the broader explanation of his reflection in his interviews. I think that is so important. I think so many people can learn from it.
I think he did a great job after the fact, learning, reflecting, moving forward, and knowing what to do. And I appreciate he wasn't scared to come, because it could have been easy for him to be like, I'm just going to leave the situation.
Yeah.
He came back to face it, and he immediately was like, I have to have this conversation on Jess's terms. Great. So then the crew goes to work out. So it's 1:58. The workout crew consists of Corey, Craig, Austen, Kyle, Sierra, Rachel, and Jess.
Yeah.
Corey then shares that his bar or his gyms also have alcohol. Amazing.
I would attend the gym so much more if it was like a gym and a socializing experience.
Agreed. So then Paige and Amanda are home. They're enjoying doing nothing. They love a good couch. And then Jason and Luke are out in the snow, gonna do a fire, make a little ice skating rink. And like Luke and Jason are like, this might be my new favorite friendship. I kind of love it.
I like the dynamics of every group. I think it's exactly what this house needs at this moment in time.
Okay, so Paige talks with Amanda about being with Craig and says it's been a lot different than normal. And that's why like when Paige runs, she just like doesn't know what to do. So she runs away when Craig's like in fights. Like when he was fighting Luke, she fucking sprinted out of the room,
especially when it's her friend, because we saw her and him on Southern Charm, and I think she handled that situation a lot better because she doesn't have to navigate her individual friendship with those people at that time. She doesn't have
to work with them.
But with Luke, like that is it's really difficult, I think, to navigate early on in your relationship. Her and Craig have been dating for 6 months at this time, and your friend.
Yeah, for sure. So Amanda says she usually stops Kyle and then tells Kyle why he's wrong.
Yeah.
which we've seen. She does.
Yes.
She's always like Kyle. She'll always go after Kyle, which I think is really important. But then Paige says, well, Craig's sensitive and he likes to be treated like a baby, which this was the moment I said I would never date Craig then. Like this man, he's so touchy.
I agree. And the thing is, like, okay, maybe like the way it's communicated can be different because like they're like Kyle and Craig personalities wise can be different. Like Amanda can be more forceful in the like,
yeah.
Kyle, no, like yelling.
And they've been dating longer. I get that.
But like, okay, so maybe the way you communicate it to Craig needs to be different. Like maybe you pull him aside and you have a calmer conversation with Craig, but like you still need to, that doesn't
hold
mean
him accountable for
you
his
coddle
actions.
people
Yeah.
just because he wants to be a baby. Like
just
that would turn me off so much.
Because he's not sensitive of other people's feelings. So why should everyone be sensitive of his feelings?
Right? This really annoyed me. This was talked on Watch What Happens Live, and Amanda said like being new in a relationship, that is tricky to navigate this. And as time goes on, and Paige said this has happened, that she's able to confront Craig a lot more when he is out of line.
But yeah, Amanda has noticed like Craig's a little sensitive baby. And she's like a little like, and we talked about this on Watch What Happens Live, but you know, when Kyle acts out, Paige has no problem yelling at Kyle.
Yeah.
Get all the receipts for that on every show that they've been on. But when it's Craig, Paige is finally realizing that like when it's the person you love, you have a harder time communicating these things to them. And that's why Amanda was always struggling when Kyle's fighting with her friends to be like, especially I think the Hannah thing, that's what brought me back here, because Amanda really struggled to walk that line between Hannah
that's a really
Kyle.
good comparison.
And Paige was very big on like, well, Kyle's wrong. But now Paige is realizing like it's hard. It's a hard situation to navigate.
That is a really good comparison because like Kyle sticking up for things mattered, but Hannah's feelings obviously still mattered, you know, like
and Paige and Hannah were very big on like, well, Kyle's an asshole. He's mistreating Hannah, like he's yelling at us. How are you going to let him speak to us? And Amanda was always like, I told him not to.
I don't control him.
I don't know where to go.
I'm giving him feedback, but I do not control him.
Yes. So Paige feels like Craig is way more passionate and vocal than she initially realized, which how do you watch Southern Charm? This man is passionate about anything that doesn't go his way.
That's true. He is always, and Paige said on Watch What Happens Live, she watched Southern Charm before she got on Bravo.
Girl, this man, you could look at him weirdly and he'd be upset.
I wonder if you're like, oh, that's TV. Like sometimes you think it's just really all fake.
I don't know. Dude's unhinged. So it's 3:15 p.m. We're done with the workout. Thank God, because we get to drink now. So all the girls are hanging out and Sierra is talking about how she's over and done with Austen. And then the boys walk over and Austin's like, hey, everyone, I'm going to throw a sinner's party so we can repent and have a clean slate. Everyone's like, okay, great. So Jess talks about how her and Luke had an amazing talk.
Yeah.
They're good, which I do like Jess being like, we are fine. We had a great talk. It was amazing.
Because it is obviously something that happened to them and in their relationship, but there were other people around and involved. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing, but I think sometimes people forget how a one-to-one relationship thing can affect the group, especially when you're all living together.
So she assures them like, perfect
we're
conversation.
Good.
We're good.
We've moved on. So everybody else can move on too.
But Craig doesn't want to talk to Luke. He wishes he wasn't so mean, but it happened. So like
first time he is like truly like
he's reflected on anything. But yeah, he never wants to talk to or about Luke ever again. This man is just a giant child.
He is running away from the problems, whereas Luke is running to resolve problems.
Yes. Can we also talk about how Austen was the one that's like, Craig, dude, you gotta talk to Luke. Like of all.
Okay, but Austen says that stuff on Southern Charm too. Like Craig, when Craig is upset with Austen and Shep, he just avoids them.
Yeah. So Austen straight up like, can you please have this conversation? You live in and I think that's hard. Like, Craig doesn't do this. He doesn't have to live with these people he fights with. So Austen, I think, is like aware that like we have to fucking coexist.
Yeah,
So if you
like
could
we
not be
actually
an
do have to
asshole,
resolve these things. We can't
yeah,
just like separate and just like let it dissipate.
horrible.
We actually have to talk it out and resolve it in person, or it's just like awkward.
I know. So,
And you can tell this is the difference between therapy goers and not therapy goers.
well,
Luke, therapy goers, handles problems, resolves them. Craig, not a therapy goer, runs away from the problem.
Craig would be
Be a
institutionalized in
Luke,
a second.
just in how we handle problems. Be a Luke, not a Craig.
But also like be a Luke for making fires and chopping down wood because we love.
Yes.
So 4:37. Jason, pure little Jason, he's cooking food. It smells so good. Luke's outside ice skating. I love how pure that this is. It's all wholesome. It's all wholesome.
Instead of an igloo, we get an ice rink, which I really thought about how did he do this? Did he take buckets of water outside and just like throw it on the
No,
I really thought about this.
It's a lake. He knows that there's a body of
You're
water
right, because
there.
you're right. There were steps on your little picture that there was a lake, but we never saw that lake last year.
Because
I
it's
don't
always
think.
covered. Yeah. So he
Oh.
shoveled it so then you could ice
Oh
skate on it.
my God, I didn't know there was a lake back there. I just thought he poured water on the ground.
No, Luke's
And
not
I was
that
like, how
good.
is it even? I literally thought
he
about
did-
this. I thought he
no.
poured water
It's
on the
it's a
ground.
lake.
I knew he couldn't
My
use a
God.
hose, but
My goodness.
oh my God.
You didn't hear Jess go like, how'd you do this? And he's like, it's a lake.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, everyone,
Well,
it's a
I
lake.
saw him and Jason with their little shovels, and I thought he was making a little round thing, and then he must have just at some point put
No.
water on the
Okay, well, now that we've cleared that up. Okay, so Jason and Luke made this ice skating rink and a fire, so everyone's gonna head outside. Even if
Love
you don't
this.
fucking want to, because it was kind of them to do this thing. So Jess is first outside and she's gonna take Luke one-on-one in hockey, which I like that they can still be civilized. They're gonna hang out, they're
This was
friends.
huge, I think, for viewers.
Yes.
This portion was huge for viewers to see them having fun. I think it
And-
really lightened the show mood.
And Luke has fully taken the hint because when Jess doesn't know how to hit a puck, he could have easily done that thing where he's like, let me show you and go behind her. Like he didn't. He from far away was like, put that your right
You see
hand
how
on
I
top.
do this?
Yeah. And then shoot it. And she does it. And he's like, wow, that's great. And all the dudes are watching them. And Craig's like, ugh, I gotta talk to Luke because if Jess isn't mad, I can't be mad. And he's kind of hoping Jess is like a
Which
little
I'm
mad.
glad he realizes that, because that is true. Like Jess
Yeah.
is really the offended party here. Like if she can move on, like Craig, you need to move on.
Okay, so it's 5:45. Rachel, who doesn't like the cold, actually likes it out here. Yes, girl, a fire, that's the key.
And this is like fun and vibey. I think she's like not into like I think she really likes these cold activities with the proximity of the house. I can go inside at any time. But the snowboarding thing, she's like, I gotta travel all the way there, and I'm committing to like 3 hours in the cold.
I appreciate. Kyle and Rachel have like a cute little moment where he wants her to scream and she won't. Sierra has no interest in going outside, so her and Paige stay inside. And then Kyle gets a FaceTime from our very own Tom Schwartz.
Love. I was so excited.
I was shook. Kyle's like, look who it is. And I was like, whoa. Didn't see that one
Had
coming.
no idea this was coming.
But basically tells Schwartz to grab Sandoval and get to Vermont. And they're like, we're gonna come.
I didn't realize this is how it went down. Like, I'm excited.
Me too.
Which obviously this is more planned.
What a different vibe
like,
we're gonna get.
I'm
because,
scared in a great way.
It's almost like Summer House. And then you bring in like two guys from a different show, right? Southern Charm.
Yeah.
And that like, I guess turned out okay, but like wasn't great.
Especially because they're big drinkers. They do themed party. Like they kind of like are the similar vibe, but they don't live with each other.
Yes. But like, I think the Toms mesh way better with Summer House than Southern Charm will. Like, I think this is the vibe.
I just love the atmosphere of shows that are not 24/7 surveillance coming onto 24/7 surveillance.
Agreed. Okay, so Luke really likes Craig's jersey. Craig says he doesn't hate Luke, but just mad at how he was acting. It's nothing personal. And I was like, dude, when you threaten to throw someone through a window, it gets like a little personal.
And like, you are standing up for Jess. Like, it does weirdly come down to kind of like a character. This is really personal. This was a really personal argument.
It was.
This was about your girlfriend being like him, like I'm gonna call stroking, even though I hate that word right now in this context. Like Paige, like it was very personal. It's okay for it to be personal.
Yeah, but he's like, nothing personal, dude. Like, just the situation.
I'm a big
And
words
Luke's
matter person. Like, say what it is.
same. So then Luke's like, hey man, no animosity. Like, I understand. And so
Mature
Craig's
Luke.
like, yeah, things happen. Whoopsie daisy. Let's move on. And I was like, dude, throw an I'm sorry. Just a quick, like, sorry for threatening you. Or like,
Even just like, hey, I'm sorry we had words. You know, like, I'm
yeah.
sorry we got to that point. Even like that half apology would be really great.
Because even Luke in his interview was like, so this delivery sucks, but
Yeah.
I have to like live here. So I guess I'm just gonna like also
Be
not
the bigger person
apologize and we'll just
here.
like move on. So yeah, they're like Luke expresses his feelings where he's like, we've bonded over being bullied, and it felt like you were really coming at me like a bully a
Yeah.
little bit, which when you threaten to throw someone out a window
Yeah, by
a
the
few
time it
times,
got
it's
to the
like,
end of it, when the girls were gone, it's like, this
get
isn't.
out of here. Yeah, I'm gonna kill him. It felt
Yeah.
weird. But Craig again goes, shit happens, man.
I don't like that. And Luke says, like, this is just who Craig is, and I have to like let it
Accept
go
it
so
and just
we
yeah.
can live here.
Again, therapy. He's like, this is that person. I have to just
Yes.
accept it and move on.
Yep.
So yeah, Luke's gonna move on. Great. So then Jess keeps calling Corey Craig. She does it again. And Corey's like, what the fuck? Literally call me any other name. Just stop calling me Craig.
I love
Because no one likes Craig here. So it looks it's not great. But then we all get ready for the sinners party. Kyle really struggles to put on his outfit. It's like a moo.
this
I
is this I love Kyle that just
I
a
love Kyle.
mess.
I literally was like, who the hell is this? He
I
was
knew it was
struggling
Kyle
this
because of the
hard.
room from the poop scene earlier.
He was just like hands up trying to shimmy it down his body. It was
I
hilarious.
tried on a dress once and I could not get out of it in a dressing room. And I was like, I guess I live in this outfit now.
That was this. Okay, so Austen, everyone's seated, and Austen's dressed as the Pope, and he comes in and he welcomes everyone.
In incredible outfit, I have to
Great.
say.
Amazing.
Such detail as two Catholics.
Amazing. It was
Incredible.
fantastic. Okay, so we all need to go around and say something that we should repent about. And Sierra goes, you should go first. And he goes, hush, Sierra, my child.
Oh, I loved that.
It was awesome. It was very funny, even though
Yeah.
Sierra was a little offended. It was very entertaining. So then Austen repents for fighting with Amanda last winter, and he is forgiven. And then he repents for closing the door in Paige's face, and he is forgiven.
Which we get that flashback.
Yeah. Summer House is great. And then he repents for making all his mistakes he made towards Sierra.
Well, he skips Craig because what's the point?
Oh my God. He's like, wait, I don't like you that much. And then he's like, Sierra, I repent for all the mistakes I've made towards you, and I hope those sins are forgiven. And she basically stares at him, and it cuts, and we
not forgiven.
So next time, the Toms are here already. Fast flight.
So excited. I'm really pumped because I want to say this for us, for our audience personally. I want to move on from the like Luke Jess thing. I really want to have fun. So like, let's get some fresh blood up in this.
Also, these are some older, not mature, but they're a little,
but not like this type of drama.
You know how Luke is like a little older, so this kind of seems like even though I think Craig's the same age as him, it just seems like there's a big age difference.
Yeah,
the Toms I think will bond a little bit,
but
more
they're
going to be fun. It'll be fun.
I think there's not going to be like this pettiness drama.
No. Okay, so Rachel is kind of into Jason, but she wants him to make a move, so she's just gonna make the move.
I like.
Ooh. Okay, so Austen doesn't know if he's in a relationship. I want to die at this man.
Okay.
Tom and Katie are really complex right now. Tom Schwartz, to be specific, and Tom Sandoval a little bit. They're complex too. We're getting hurt in the snow. Craig's a little bitch. Paige is exhausted with Craig, and Craig doesn't care about people's feelings, which makes Paige want to go home. Which, if you have so many feelings everyone has to care about, you have to care about other people's feelings.
Yes,
if you got no feelings, don't care about other people's feelings.
Well, you should still care about other people's feelings, but you can't unload your emotional baggage and not expect or like not reciprocate. But a lot of people don't do that. I have people in my life who like unload but won't take.
You can't say you need to respect my feelings and then never respect anyone else's feelings.
Well, people do it.
Okay,
I'm not saying it's right.
We gotta do fun, not fun.
Okay.
Which one you want to do first?
I don't know. I think not fun because I'd like to end on a
Okay.
good note.
Who are you picking?
I'm gonna pick Craig. I'm just tired of him
Me
not being
too.
able to open. Like, it just, for me on this one, like, I didn't want to pick someone last time because I just felt like it was way too serious. This is just solely on Craig not being able to accept his responsibility. Everybody else accepted, even Jess owned her responsibility in it
Yeah.
all. Like, come on. For the greater good of the house, you need to be able to have conflict resolution and move on.
I agree. I'm upset. He loves to fucking pick a fight, even at the expense of everyone else.
Yeah.
And I don't I just don't enjoy him in it. Like it's very aggravating.
If you're gonna pick a fight, you better be able to resolve that fight.
For sure.
Like adults.
I'm over to him. He's gonna by far be the most unfun of the season, just so
He just
everyone
like
already knows.
the way you said like that he unloads but doesn't take anybody else's. He really just like does think the world revolves around him. The same way like in that page call. Like if you're on a Zoom, no matter who it is, I don't
Just
want
shut
you
up.
making inappropriate comments.
It's like when you're a kid and your mom calls and you're like, don't say anything inappropriate.
Yes.
You
It's not
just
like Craig
respect the
called
code.
out to Austen or like to somebody else downstairs, like, hey, is breakfast ready? And he interrupted the call and just didn't realize Paige was down
He
there
saw Paige working
and specifically said something inappropriate.
and she felt disrespected. I don't know.
Yep.
He's just like a goddamn fucking mess. He's first generation money though, so he could do what he wants, I guess. I hate him.
Raised by cleaners, hates cleaning.
Nightmare. Okay, who was fun? I thought there was a lot of fun in this.
I agree. I want you to go first because I'm still contemplating. I have a few ideas.
I have a few
sure.
ideas. I wanted you to go first. Okay,
Oh.
because I have two. So
Okay.
if you pick my
How about
one,
you tell me both and I
okay,
will maybe pick one of those.
I was gonna go Luke or Corey.
Okay. Okay.
Did you have either of those?
I was going off the party type things, but I did really like Corey, so I'll pick Corey.
Okay.
You go
Can I
ahead with
also
Luke.
comment on Corey really quick?
Of course. This is not I comment on yours all the time.
The gym, we're really learning a lot about him. He's not as big a douchebag as I thought.
I agree. I really like the depth he brings to this show. I think he was really fun on the speed dating thing. Everybody said he was the best date.
Oh my God, he's a matchmaker. He knows how to date.
That great
He's
event
so
he said with adding the brewery and working out
He's
thing.
so interesting. Like he has so many layers.
Yes. The things he enjoys doing, even though like I would be most of the time if I prejudged him, I'd be like working out. But he makes it fun to watch.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I really
would work out next to him.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pick Luke because I think last episode ended on a really sour note.
Yeah.
It was really rough to get
Luke is
through.
one I did want to pick too. So this is a good one.
I appreciate that he separated himself from the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that he has good enough character where everyone kind of knows he didn't do it with malice intent, but he came back and he said, I've self-reflected, I can take ownership, I can be accountable, and he's fully willing to move on with everyone. I appreciate that him and Jess could hang out after, and it was so fun.
He's like a no grudges
normal
person, and I really admire him for that.
I really like that. And I even like that on Watch What Happens Live. Even Paige is like, I wasn't mad about Luke like touching. Like, no one's upset, but he even if everyone was like, Luke, you're fine, no one cares. They're
upset for Jess feeling that way. Yes. Not that Luke forced her into anything or like XYZ.
Yeah. My point was though, I feel like even if everyone took and was like, Craig's an asshole, Luke, we love you so much, he still would have been like, but I made someone feel uncomfortable. I have to take ownership of that. And I appreciate that. And I think because he is such a grown-up, we're now going to have a fun rest of winter because he's not going to hold grudges. And he made a fucking ice skating rink out of water from a hose.
He cleared off a lake. I know it now.
He literally was like, I'm not only just going to come back and apologize, I'm going to fully I'm going to do things I
love.
And I'm going to make an ice skating rink for all my friends.
Yeah.
Even if they hate me, all my friends. So we did it.
Love that. Great pick.
Okay, we'll do all the things I said at the beginning of the episode. I don't care. I've been up since 4. I don't care enough to.
You know what? Just go to our Insta and go to Alicia's tweets. They're saved in our highlights. So that's the best way to get them.
Okay, goodbye.
Thanks for joining. Bye.